Hi there, and welcome to the Mindset Mastery Summit, a free online training summit where we are discussing how to shift your mindset for greater joy, inner peace, and resilience in order to live your best life. I'm your host, Shelly Roberts. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Carol Culver, holistic healer. Carol is a globally recognized speaker and healer and the host of the Global Health, Wealth, and Happiness Summit. She empowers her clients to reclaim their health and life by addressing the root cause of their physical, spiritual, and emotional imbalances which are keeping them on the hamster wheel. Carol is a certified Hanna-Kroger practitioner. Using the teachings of Hanna and various energetic techniques, Carol assists her clients to be in alignment with their health, relationship, money, and career goals. Carol, welcome to the summit. I'm so glad to have you with us today.
Shelly, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to present today and be your speaker. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So can you tell the audience a little bit about what you're doing these days?
Absolutely. And I am really trying to help my clients identify what underlying illness is going on. And so what is underneath the illness? So I ask my clients questions, and I do this by, asking questions. And also I use a really neat software that helps me to look at a person's emotional, spiritual, and physical bodies. And I look at those, and then I look to see what's out of balance. So that can show things like emotions, as I said, but it also can show things like physical, like parasites, and it's not diagnostic in nature, but it is a tool just to help me. And then the other way I do it is also intuitively. And I also do guided healings and work on the spiritual realm and try to guide my clients to feel better and also to be in touch with that inner part of themselves so that they can really get to be feeling better and acknowledging what's going on. Our body is an amazing thing. It shows us by illness where imbalances are in our body. So I believe that every physical illness comes from an emotional root cause. But the emotions aren't really the key, other than the fact that they can identify what part of the body may be out of balance. But also, once you can identify the emotions that are causing these things, we can say, okay, well, what's going on here? So I'll give you an example. If you have somebody who comes to me with reoccurring bladder infections, just for example, I can look at that and say, okay, where are you not defining your boundary? Where are you not holding your boundary? Where are you saying yes to everybody? That type of stuff. So that's a clear boundary thing. And so it helps me to really identify by asking a lot of questions, what's going on in their life. And as I said, the body is an amazing thing. It can heal itself. And I want my clients, and that's really what I want to do, is empower them to heal themselves. Because our bodies are amazing like that.
So in the holistic healing, is it the mind, body, and spirit connection that, how does one affect the other?
So holistic is whole. It's all of the bodies. That is the definition of whole, right? Of holistic, excuse me. So it's all of the bodies. So I want to look at the etheric body, the physical body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, and what makes up all of those things, right? So in our body, in our physical body, the emotional body, just say we have a trauma as a child, and it doesn't have to be a huge trauma. It could be the teacher puts on my report card that I was lazy. Well, I take that forward, and that creates the paradigm or the limiting belief or all of these things that I operate from now. not even consciously knowing that that's where I'm operating from, but all of a sudden I'm making decisions that are out of believing that I'm lazy or I'm not smart or whatever the case may be. So it doesn't have to be a serious trauma like a post-traumatic stress thing. So they're all interconnected because, as I said, I believe that every physical illness comes from an emotional root cause. And again, like I said, the body is that illness is its message to say, hello, this isn't working. Hello, you didn't deal with this, and you're going to have to deal with this. And so that's what our body is telling us when it gets sick. When we get sick or a pain or something like that, it's a gift. It's a gift to say, okay, what is this here to tell me? What do I need to pay attention to here? And that's what I really want to help my clients to realize is it's not like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the whatever, it's not that kind of thing. I don't want people to go into panic when they get sick, because if they could just sit back and go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I have a pain in my knee. What is that trying to tell me? Okay, and the cool thing is that every body part has a tie to an emotional thing, but it has a message of its own. And so just by tuning into that and being in touch with our body and how it's feeling, how we feel, we've gotten so used to just going along and not feeling very well. And I'll have a little short story about that, but I started this on my journey this way because I wanted to find something that helped me and my kids to feel better. And so we had a myriad of illnesses to do all that. I had asthma, chronic asthma. I had allergies, like hay fever type allergies. We had epilepsy, ADD, learning differences, anxiety, depression, all of that amongst us. And so that's really how I started out in this. But when I first went to the doctor, it was after a girlfriend said to me, she was visiting me, and she said, why are you sick all the time? And I said, I'm not sick all the time. What are you talking about? I never get sick, which I never really did get the flu or a cold or that kind of sick. But she said, well, you've complained every day of a headache and a stomach and not feeling well every day since I've been here. And I went, holy crap, I totally have. So how many of us are walking around not being aware of what our body is telling us? Mm-hmm. And that's really huge for people to be aware of how they feel. What feels good? We've gotten so used to not feeling good, we're walking around oblivious to the fact that we don't even feel good. We don't know what good feels like. That becomes our new norm.
Yeah, that's awful, because that basically says that you're okay with having a headache and a stomach ache on a regular basis, right? Because you tuned it out. So how do you help clear so that folks feel better physically or emotionally? What gets cleared?
So, even by identifying the emotion involved, and in my experience, they are all rooted. They may have the emotion. We all come into this planet to learn something, right? On a journey. And our journey is predetermined before we come in. We determine that before we come into this life, this time, that way. And so these things do pop up for us also to learn those lessons. But what I was going to say is, and I lost my train of thought there. Sorry, you asked me how to clear. Okay, so what I use a myriad of different energetic techniques, but even by identifying the emotion and then identifying the root of that emotion, because the emotion is just the story, but and even the root of it can be the story as well, but it could be from a past life. We could have brought that in with us. It could be generational. It could be not even belong to us. That's another thing that people don't realize. Everything we feel, whether it's physical, emotional, or whatever doesn't always belong to us. So I tell people, look, ask, does this belong to me? And however you sense information, whether you sense it, you feel it, you hear it, you see it, if you get a no, then return to origin with consciousness attached, because you don't have to take that on. Especially empathic people, they take on stuff that they don't even know they're taking on. But sometimes super empathic people will feel everything and all that. And I'm not a huge believer in like putting myself in a bubble necessarily, but I do know that I don't have to take that on, and I set that up that way. So I encourage my clients to do that. So that but just by identifying the emotion can sometimes create an awareness and a clearing in itself. But I use some energetic techniques, and they're techniques that were downloaded to me. And so I'd really like to do a little technique with y'all today, but I'm not sure if we're at that spot at the moment. So
well, we can certainly, yeah, let's certainly do it. It's definitely fits in because it will show us, you know, what you mean by doing an energy clearing. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we can go back to the questions that I have, but let's definitely do that.
Okay, sure. So I just invite everybody who is on the call, not if you're driving, please, but if you are driving, you can still listen to this and you can still receive the energy, but just don't close your eyes if you're driving. So if you are not driving and you're at home and you're just sit comfortably, be open to receive, and we're just going to start out by taking a couple of deep breaths. And when I do these, what I do is I'm going to start off by clearing everybody's energy. And what I see is I work with light. And so what I see is a tornado made of light, and it's spinning in a counterclockwise way. And that's just removing anything out of the etheric body. And by the way, I always ask that this is not done to anybody who does not need this, or any work I do energetically will only go to those places that need it and to those people that need it and those people that are ready. So we'll just take a deep breath here while I just clear out everybody's energy. And if you can, I want you just to come to your heart center. And you can do this by bringing your attention and your breath there, and also maybe bringing your hand to your heart. Whatever's comfortable for you. And as we breathe, I'm going to connect us through the crown chakra all the way up to source. And that source light is going to come all the way down through our body. It's going to come down through our torso, our heart center, go through our heart center, down through our feet, down through our arms and our hands, all the way down through our feet into Mother Earth. If you have your feet on the ground at the moment, that's great. If you're lying down, that's okay. Just vision that your feet are on the ground, and this energy and light and love is just going right through the earth, down into the center, and it's rooting out. And as it roots out from there, it's grounding you to Mother Earth. And then that energy, the roots are going to stay. They're keeping you grounded, not stuck, but grounded. On the ground, energy in your feet. And then it's going to come back up. And we're just going to feel that energy in our heart. As our heart pumps, that light and that energy is going to go to every cell of the body. Wherever your body needs that light and that love, it's going to be absorbed in there. And everybody just take a deep breath. Okay, and we're just going to finish this off by you connecting to your own heart. And the message is here really is that you can always connect to this light and this love. This is source light and source love. And you can connect to this anytime you want to by just bringing your attention to your heart, because it lives here. That light and love is at our access whenever we want it. We so often look outside of ourselves for that light and that love, but that is within us. And the message here is that you're safe and that all is well in this minute and this time and this place. Whenever you're ready, you can just bring your attention back to the room. And then we can just open our eyes and just come back to the room, and that's that.
Carol, I feel lighter. And my feet are tingly.
Awesome. So I just did an awesome class this weekend with somebody, and I had some intuitive hits, but one of the things that came up was, especially women, but a lot of us are living up here, and I don't want to say all of us because that's a generalization and not everybody is, but we're not connecting to our feet and our grounding, and we're not in our feet enough, and we're not connecting to that female divine that is in Mother Earth and in being grounded in that way. And so that was a huge thing for me, because it's funny, because I work a lot with the upper chakras. That was something that I was doing, so I know that for myself, and not to project on everybody, but that is something that came through for me for sure. And so that might have come through for y'all.
So is the energy clearing to help us with minor aches and pains, or is it kind of an emotional clearing so that we feel lighter emotionally? I mean, what benefits
so
from doing?
I have other energetic techniques that I use to help to clear the emotions. But what I've really decided is that people really need to get in touch with themselves. The awareness of the emotion is good, because we've also, not only have we become numb to our own body, but we've become numb, or we've stuffed, because, that's what we've been taught to do. Children are seen and not heard, so we don't express. So we stuff our feelings a lot. We stuff, and we don't feel our emotions. And so one of the things I really want to work with my clients with is to empower them to take back their power, feel their emotion, let it run through them, but acknowledge the emotion, feel the emotion. And maybe that emotion is here again to teach them something. Maybe, being fed up. I'm a big believer that we need to pay attention to the messages. And I've always have been. And so I like to the neurology side of messages, and I look at messages in all kinds of different ways. It comes to us in lots of different ways. And illness and pain and all of those are just one way. And so what I have been doing is emotional clearings, yes. And I use a technique that came to me, and then another technique that is one of Hannah's gadgets. And so she came up with lots of gadgets. And if you don't know who Hannah Kroger was, she was a pioneer in natural health in the US. She started one of the first health food stores in the US in Boulder, Colorado. And so this is one of her tools, and it just looks like a flashlight. It actually is, it has some numbers here, and then it has this magenta lens on it, and it has this piece on the end that has all that, and it has some crystals inside and some other things. And so I use that in a technique that I can use to clear out emotions. But what I'm really being guided to is that maybe the emotions don't need to be clearing. Maybe we need to see what's the message in the emotion, and even in the trauma, whether it's, the teacher told me I was lazy, or it's not, or something else. So I think that's where I'm really starting to head a little bit more towards, and empowering my clients to be able to reclaim their power and to get better by doing that.
Yeah. So the connection inward, and then raising our awareness on kind of how our body and our emotions feel, and being in touch with that, and then taking the next step with you to interpret, well, okay, my knee hurts, what does that mean? Or I've got an ongoing, cramp in my shoulder, what do I do about it? Or, what is it telling me, or whatever. I wouldn't know. All I would know is that, I've got an ongoing cramp in my shoulder or my neck or whatever it is, right? Right. So we need help interpreting what that means. So are there some tips or tools or strategies that can help people understand better what their body's trying to tell them?
Yeah, absolutely. And something I want to tell everybody is that everybody, you are intuitive. We don't always listen to our intuition, but we are all intuitive. We're all getting messages all the time. So a couple of things I just want to tell people that I used to help me with my intuition when I was first starting out was I would ask questions and I would just write down the answers. And for myself, I started with yes and no, because that's what I could hear, right? I'm auditory, I'm visual and auditory. So I would write down questions, but I was already getting the answers, by the way. I just needed clarification, right? So that's how I started. That's one thing that you can do. And so we did this really cool exercise this weekend at this class, and it was talking to the pain in the knee. What comes up, right? So what do you have to tell me? And so listening to that message. So that's one thing. The other thing is too, I just want to tell people this is something I use all the time, and this is a little bit not related, but when you're trying to create something in your life and you're trying to create change, you're trying to move forward somewhere in your life, and I use this for everything from trying to get on a plane to parking to traffic to shopping at Costco on the weekend to, whatever. Everything you can imagine, to feeling better, to getting my message across clearly, whatever it can be, okay? So I request a most benevolent outcome, that the message that my knee pain needs to get to me. Well, let me think about that. I request a most benevolent outcome that I clearly understand and have clarity around the pain in my knee and what message that is for me. So knees, ankles, feet often are about moving forward. And so where are you not moving forward? Where are you afraid to move forward? Those kinds of things. And so, and hip also, by the way. So if you fall down and you hurt your knee, that's also the same thing. Even an accident, for me, it is an indication of something. It's a message. So anyway, so that's one of the things I do. So I request a most benevolent outcome that I will arrive on time at my destination. The traffic will be free flowing, and there won't be any accidents or stoppages on the way. So I use it for everything. I just flew last weekend, and I request a most benevolent outcome that I'll get through security quickly, easily, and effortlessly, and whatever.
That's awesome.
So I use it all the time. I'll get the seat on the plane that I want. I mean, I use it for everything. Everything.
I love that. I love that because that reinforces your connection to source and on your day-to-day and your guidance for your day-to-day living. Whether it's
right. And for me, it's kind of like, I mean, it is kind of like a prayer, but it's also like just putting, even if you don't believe in power of prayer, it's just like putting an intention out there and requesting, and you're asking for the most benevolent outcome. So sometimes on occasion, it hasn't been what I wanted it to be. And I thought, that's interesting. So again, I'm looking, what's the message in that? Okay, that wasn't supposed to be that way. I do believe that everything goes the way it's supposed to be, and there's divine timing and everything. And so if something doesn't turn out the way I wanted it to, then okay, that wasn't, either it wasn't the right time, or I wasn't supposed to do that right now, or whatever, I don't know. So I listened to that.
Well, I think that is awesome too, for helping to stay in touch with the goodness in life and the universe, so that you maintain, more positive outlook on things. Because you're examining, not assuming a victim, you're looking for the, you have faith that it's a benevolent outcome, even though it wasn't necessarily the outcome that you had expected or wanted.
Right. And I'll tell you a little story about that. I have a ton of stories about my most benevolent outcome because I do use it all the time. I've used it for, we got flooded here in Houston, and so I've used it for all kinds of things with that. And I guess I didn't really use it for the flood. I didn't think to use it for that. I think I was in panic mode at that time. So, but anyway, I've used it for like having the good contractors come to me, and be reasonable for bills, all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you, I use it all the time. Yeah. So, yeah. But one thing something happened recently, and I requested a most benevolent outcome. Excuse me. I requested a most benevolent outcome for something, and it did not turn out the way I wanted it to, and I didn't get to do something that I really wanted to do. And it was really funny because right after that, I was like, okay, well, I don't know why I didn't get to do that, but obviously it wasn't the right time or whatever. And right after that, I ended up having a completely different, awesome opportunity come right in my lap that I would not have been able to say yes to because I would have been doing this other thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, yeah. So sometimes you don't know right away why that turned out that way. But I was a little disappointed at first. I won't lie, but I was like, okay, well, whatever reason, that's not supposed to be that way. And so then I went along, and then when it happened, when I had this other opportunity came up, I was like, oh my gosh, so awesome.
Yeah, this or something better that I can't even imagine right now. Yeah, that
right. And you can do it for other people, by the way. And if you do it for other people, you want to say, I request any and all light beings assist Shelley to have an awesome summit and have all the speakers that she wants to have on her summit or whatever. I don't know.
Thank you. Well, that outcome.
You're welcome.
Yes, I got great people like you. So we are running out of time. So you do have a free gift that you're offering. Can you tell the audience about it?
Yeah. So my free gift is a little bit of an extension of what I did today. It's a guided chakra healing meditation. So I say guided because I work with angels. So I'm just a conduit really, and they just kind of tell me where the light and the energy and the healing and that needs to go. And so, but I will be working with the chakras, and it'll be a little longer than that probably. And this is specifically for this group. And so it will be recorded, and you can download it and listen to it whenever you would like to listen to it and feel a little lighter, feel a little more peaceful, feel a little less stressed, any of those things.
Yeah, who doesn't need more of that? That is so
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yes. So for our audience, I'll post a link at the bottom of the video and be sure to check it out. And Carol, thank you so much for joining us today and walking us through our energy clearing. Appreciate having you.
Thank you so much, Shelley, for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me, and I'm honored to be on.
Absolutely. So for our audience, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon on the Mindset Mastery Summit.